All right, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. And once again, it's another daily live stream. Today's date is July the 25th, 2026. And shalom to you, brothers and you sisters of the household of faith. I see y'all coming in. The title of this one will be Mighty Men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Now, this is a quote from the book of Jeremiah, the 51st chapter, from the 30th verse, which says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Now, this Babylon it's talking about is not ancient Babylon. A lot of these wacky-tacky scholars, so-called Bible scholars, they'll say this verse is attributed to the ancient Babylonian Empire, which was taken down by Darius the Mede. Okay, and you can find that account in the book of Daniel. I believe it's the 5th chapter. I believe it's the 5th chapter where Darius the Mede took over the Babylonian kingdom, and it became the the Median kingdom, and then later Persian kingdom, Medio-Persia. So these wacky-tacky Bible scholars, they'll say this already happened. This is pertaining to ancient Babylon. Now, there's two verses. There's more, but there's two verses as I was scanning the book of Jeremiah in the 51st chapter. There's two verses showing you within that chapter it's not talking about ancient Babylon because it doesn't fit. And we know that these wacky-tacky Bible scholars, we know they don't understand prophecy. Prophecy was given to the prophets. And beginning with Elder Pastor on down, we are the prophets. Okay, we're the prophets of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai that was sent back in this generation to prophesy against this kingdom. All right. Anyway, here's a couple of verses from Jeremiah 51, letting you know that it's talking about a future Babylon and not ancient Babylon. This is Jeremiah 51 and 25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth. Now, the ancient Babylonian Empire did not destroy all the earth. But this modern day Babylon has, okay, through its philosophies, all right, through its practices, its deception, which destroys all the earth. So this Babylon that Jeremiah 51 is talking about has destroyed all the earth. But let's keep reading. And I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, meaning roll this Babylon down from their pomp, from their great pride, right? And will make thee a burnt mountain. Now, that didn't happen to ancient Babylon. Ancient Babylon was simply taken over by Darius the Mede. It didn't become a burnt mountain. It became another kingdom, right? So what Babylon is this talking about that's going to become a burnt mountain? Well, that fits America. So that's one verse letting you know Jeremiah 51 is really talking about America, Babylon the Great. Let's go to the next verse, because ancient Babylon did not become a burnt mountain. But you know what? Let's keep reading. I think let's just keep reading. Jeremiah 51:26. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations, because nothing's after this Babylon Jeremiah 51 is talking about is destroyed. Nothing is going to be left. It's going to be a big, vast desert. And that didn't happen to ancient Babylon. As a matter of fact, ancient Babylon is still inhabited to this very day. Okay? Where the ancient Babylonian kingdom was set up. It's inhabited to this very day. It has not become a burnt mountain or a desert. And they shall not take of thee When I say a desert, meaning a total desert. And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations. Here it comes. But thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord. So again, ancient Babylon has not been desolate. But this Babylon will be desolate forever. The Babylon that Jeremiah 51 is talking about. So that Babylon fits America. Okay? Here it is right here. Now, this is the verse that I saw. This is building on the 26th verse. This is the 30th verse, or the 29th verse. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord, Yahweh Bar Shem Yahushai, shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without, listen good, without an inhabitant. How does that fit ancient Babylon? It doesn't. Like I said, ancient Babylon was taken down by Darius the Mede. It was a smooth takeover, so to speak. You had the handwriting on the wall, and then Belshazzar saw the handwriting on the wall. And that very night, according to the scripture, I believe it's in Daniel, the 5th chapter, that very night, Belshazzar was slain by Darius the Mede, and Darius took over. Thus it became the Median Empire, the Median Kingdom, and then later the Persian Kingdom. Okay? The Medo-Persia. That's what happened. There was no total destruction. There was no total desolation. All right? There was no burnt mountain. So all that came out of Jeremiah 51. So what Babylon is Jeremiah 51 talking about? Well, it's a future prophecy for America. Okay? So that's how we know that this Babylon is talking about America. Now, it says, the mighty men of Babylon, to the 30th verse, same chapter, Jeremiah 51:30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might have failed. Yeah, because America is becoming weaker and weaker. So weak that other nations that once trembled in America's presence, they're not trembling anymore. You know, China and Japan, especially China, they're flexing in America's face. Something they couldn't do back in the past. So America's losing its pomp. America's losing its might. And one of the signs is the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Now, what inspired me to do this lesson was what has been recently trending, where military individuals, military soldiers, are saying, F you. Especially with what he got going over there in Iran. Okay, Iran. I ran so far away. Was that the flock of seagulls? I ran so far away. All right, that's what the military men are doing. Some of them, they're running far away from Iran. Right? They're not buying the war machine of Trump anymore. And they're blatantly saying, F Trump, fuck Trump. Okay? And that to me is an example of the mighty men of Babylon, America, forborne to fight. They don't want to fight because they've seen that this, well, it's like General Smedley Butler said all those years ago, war is a racket. Y'all find that information, please put it in the chat. As a matter of fact, let me see, what time do I? Okay, I got a little time. I'm going to go to Google. That's one of the reasons why the Trump war machine is failing, because people are waking up, especially with the advent of the internet. People are waking up and finding out that these wars, that there's nothing really behind these wars. They're just profit-making machines for the top international banking families and the super rich. That's what they're finding out. It's not about patriotism. It's not about, for your patriotic duty for your country. It's all bullshit, man. They're finding out is nothing but a profit-making machine for the top super elite, in particular the Rothschild family. So we're going to type in, why did Smedley Butler say war is a racket? Any one of you who desires to go into the military, you really should read that book, War is a Racket. Why did General Smedley Butler say war is a racket? Esau got a lot of rackets going. Esau is the racket man. There we go. Oh, I like it. I like this. I like this. Short, succinct, and to the point. So you see, I asked the question, why did General Smedley Butler, which was a real guy, just Google him. You know, you can get if you get the facts on him, please put it in the chat. I mean, you brothers, you got to do some work too. But you brothers be doing that. I got to say, every time I go live, you brothers be, man, spirit be heavy on you brothers. So, you know, all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai for putting the spirit on you brothers, man. You don't just come in here and be entertained. No, you put in work. You be putting in the scriptures. You be putting in the facts. So, hey, that's all right, man. You brothers keep doing what you're doing. All right? Because we're here to work. Like Pastor said, GMS, we're a working camp. All right? That's what we do. All right? So General Smedley Butler, right, described war as a racket to highlight the exploitation and profit motives behind military conflicts. Now, let's go back to the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds, that's why they created wars. They created wars to fatten their pockets. That's a fact. They created wars to fatten their pockets. All right. Let's read that again. We could just read that and we done made the point. General Smedley Butler described war as a racket to highlight the exploitation, that's a good word, exploitation, and profit motives. So it's not a patriotic motive. Patriotism, American patriotism, that died a long time ago. More and more people are waking up to the American bullshit. It's all bullshit. Why do you think you got the passport brothers, you got people leaving America and saying, fuck America. I'm going, the women all shit. The women all used up slut bags. That's just one example. A lot of so-called Americans, you call them expats. Somebody can put the definition of an expat. Oh, wait a minute, expat. And doesn't that mean expatriotic? They're leaving America and they're going to places like Philippines. One of the number one reasons is look for a wife, look for a decent woman. Because you ain't gonna find that in America. The average American woman is nothing but a slut bag. Got a high body count, totally apathetic, cold and distant. There's no real love there. So you got men that have sense, that is. They're not buying the American bullshit anymore. They're leaving America and they're going to places like the Philippines to find themselves a nice, warm, preferably young, loving woman, man. And in some cases, they actually find it. Because those women over there in the Philippines, a good majority of them have been trained to be that way. You see? So that's one of the reasons why these men are leaving America. Yeah, they're feminine throughout it, brother. That's another good quality of man. See, these women in America, they're so freaking stupid. They think that men are looking for them for their degrees. And a man don't give a shit about your degree and the money you're making, because a man already knows the money you women are making is for yourself. Women are the most selfish creatures on the planet Earth. All right? All they really care about is themselves. So men are not looking for you for your money and your degrees. Men are looking for you for your beauty, for your femininity, for your loving nature, your nurturing nature, your loving nature, looking to see if you're loyal. Those are the qualities men are looking for in you women. But the modern day American woman, they got it twisted, man. They got it twisted because they are twisted. You see? So rather than a man dealing with that bullshit, he say, you know what, the hell with that. the internet has made the world a smaller place. They see videos from the internet of the way women are around the world, in particular places like the Philippines and China, Japan, et cetera, et cetera. And now the spirit has made it where these women are desiring Jake men. You know, they're desiring so-called black men more and more. So they're like, man, I'm out of here, man. They got some money. They get their passport. Look, I'm out of here. Right. They're fit. I don't want to make this video all about women, but, you know, you get the point. They're fit. So fit and feminine. You can't beat that. All right. These are two things the average so-called American woman is not. The average so-called American woman is combative, especially so-called black woman. They're very combative, very nasty, got a nasty attitude. They're fat and they're out of shape. All right. The sense of entitlement, the sense of entitlement with these so-called American women is off the charts, man. The sense of entitlement is off the charts. And a real man ain't going to deal with that. And rather than arguing with you, he's just going to go where he knows he'll be appreciated. How about that? All right, so enough of that. Let's get to it. So General Smedley Butler described war as a racket to highlight the exploitation and profit motives behind military conflicts. In his 1935 pamphlet, so it hasn't changed, here we are in 2026, he argued that wars are often driven by the interests of a small group of industrialists. Yeah, we know them as the international banking families. And guess what? More and more Americans are waking up and finding that out. What Smedley Butler put in his book way back in 1935. That's why one of the reasons why they're saying, fuck you, Trump, and your war machine. All right? And that goes back to scripture. The mighty men of Babylon have forborn to fight. He argued that wars are often driven by the interests of a small group of industrialists and politicians rather than the needs of the nation or its citizens. Woo! Man. Yeah, well, that's what, and especially so-called white people are finding that out, and they're crashing out. They're chimping out. They're finding out that they've been duped with this military shit. Butler pointed out that these individuals profit immensely from war. Right, beginning of the Rothschild family, top banking families. They're the ones that create these unnecessary wars, while the general public suffers the consequences. There you go, including loss of life and economic hardship. Right, isn't that what we're going through right now with this war in Iran? Iran so far away. And I ran so far away, couldn't get away. Right? If you don't know where that's from that song, Flock of Seagulls group, Iran, I believe it's called. Anyway, while the general public suffers the consequences, including loss of life and economic hardship. That's exactly what we're going through right now. You're getting the loss of life over there, over the Iran conflict, and we're in economic hardship. Same old story, same old game. Same old game, man. And this is back in 1935, this was written. He emphasized that the true beneficiaries of war are not the soldiers of the country. Yeah, that's why they come back broke. They come back in they got both their legs blown off like Stumpy Johnson. Y'all remember Stumpy Johnson, right? He's a so-called black man, a military guy, came back with no legs. Okay? Come back with a metal plate in their head. And at the same time, who made all the money off their valiant fighting? Who made all the money? Who profited off of it? Certainly not the military man. The military man, he, if anything, when he comes back to his country, he's supposed to be rich. He risked his life. He's supposed to have some of those spoils and live a very comfortable life. that's not the reality for many of these soldiers, man. They come back with PTSD, is it? Post traumatic stress disorder. You know, they wake up in cold sweats, screaming and trembling from what they saw in battle. Right? So Smedley Butler was right. He emphasized that the true beneficiaries of war are not the soldiers of the country, but rather those who profit from arms sales and military contracts. Again, yeah, you have the factories like what's that? Halliburton. You know, these factories that create these war machines, these tanks, these guns, you Homo sapiens and your guns, the guns and the bullets and all that. All these guys are profiting, and you better believe they're not in the war. They're not involved in the war. They're not on the front lines fighting. No, they got more sense than that. Okay, they know it's all bullshit, but they're in the business of creating the weapons that brings on the war, and that's where they make their money at. So they're getting a good chunk of the money, but the ones who get the most money are the ones who actually created the wars, which are your top banking families. Okay. So the average person, the average so-called American, more and more of them are waking up because of the internet. That's why Jay Rockefeller said the internet should have never been invented. So more and more of them are waking up and finding this information out, and and some of them are in the military. They actually joined the military before they found out that information. So I guess while they were in the military, they found out what's really going on, and basically they're saying "F you, Trump." So that is an example of Jeremiah 51 and 30 again. The mighty men of Babylon have forborn to fight. So this is prophecy. You know what Apostle Todd says. We're a prophecy camp. So at this point, I want to show you a couple of, before I go into this, I want to show you a couple of videos. This guy was hilarious, man. This guy here. All right, let's take a listen to this. Wow, Trump is a sick F. Let's check this out. Fair use, not making any monetary gain off these videos. So
now, was anybody brought back to life in some kind of incredible resurrection? No. The reason that the death toll was dropped from 18 to 14 was because 4 service members who were killed in the last month reportedly were killed the day after Trump said we have a ceasefire. Okay? Think about how grotesque that is. What they've done is essentially say, because
made for men with a little belly to feel unstoppable every day.
Is what it is.
The number one.
Want to pause and make yeah. If you have a ceasefire, how the hell is more people going to be dying after a ceasefire? How does that make sense? But you know, Trump don't give a shit. He don't care.
Deaths happened after Trump said we have a ceasefire. We're just not going to count them as part of the war, even though they obviously are. Now, by the way, Donald Trump knows that the number really is 18 because Trump just said, you know, he did his routine. He goes, we were in Vietnam.
I honestly think it's more, but
for 20 years, we lost hundreds of thousands, Afghan.
Now, isn't that what Smedley Butler said? Let's go back to what he said. Hold on. Right. Isn't that what Smedley Butler said? Butler pointed out that these individuals profit immensely from war while the general public suffers the consequences. That's what this guy is going into. The consequences of war. This is a real thing, man. People are losing their lives, and if they don't, the people that are involved in this war machine, and if they don't lose their lives, they'll wish they lost their life because they come back with no legs. If they were engaged or about to be, engaged or married, their women end up leaving them, these soldiers, because they can't perform like they used to. You know, what woman wants to be with a man that has got both his legs blown off? All right. Let's move on.
Afghanistan, blah, blah, blah. We only lost 18 this time so far. So he knows that the number is 18. Take a look at this, and then we'll talk more about what the administration is doing.
And here, you know, we were in Vietnam for 20 years, lost thousands and hundreds of thousands of lives, but thousands and thousands of lives. We were in Afghanistan.
Why were they in Vietnam? Was it for, like Smedley said, let's go back to what he said. Was it for a profit margin? Was Vietnam a profit motive? The answer is yes. Absolutely. Just go into the history. What came out of Vietnam? The drugs, you know, the natural resource they needed to make the heroin. So it was a profit motive. Vietnam never had no Vietnamese come over to America and did despicable acts like, let's say, Vietnamese came to DC and bombed DC, or the Vietnamese came and bombed one of America's sacred monuments. That didn't happen. So why did America declare war, which was a police action, but nevertheless, why did America declare war on Vietnam? What was that all about? It was a profit motive, just like Smedley Butler said. It's the same old racket. Same old racket, man.
For years.
I mean, this clown over here is mentioned in Vietnam, like the Vietnamese came to America and bombed parts of America, bombed Hollywood. Vietnamese came to Hollywood and bombed it, destroyed all of Hollywood. So now America got to go to Vietnam and teach them a lesson. No, it didn't go down like that. They were in Vietnam for a profit motive. And I already explained to you what that profit was.
We were in all these wars that you heard about for years and years.
And this is Esau's power, man. Esau's power is to make war. Let's go to the prophecy. Let's go to the prophecy in Revelation 6 and 4. That's his power, man. That's how you know. That's another clue that they are the Edomites, Esau, the red horse. You had this simple ass nigga talking about the Edo people are the true Edomites. Man, when I start, the first thing that came into my mind is this nigga is completely retarded. Okay, that's the first thing that came in my mind. Talking about the Edomites and the Edo people. Yeah. Never, ever underestimate the stupidity of a nigga. Facts. They put the S in stupidity. I gotta say, even the scriptures back me up on that. It says the children of this world, which are the Edomites, are wiser than the children of light. The children of light are the Israelites. Why do you think it says the children of this world? Y'all find the scripture, put it in the chat. Let's get it. Revelation 6. Again, never underestimate the stupidity of a nigga. All right? They'll surprise you every time. Just when you think a nigga can't get more stupid, they'll surprise you. Like that clown that says that the Edo people are the Edomites. Some of y'all might have seen that video. Let me know if you saw it and what you think of it. I think Elder Manat Zakbar did a response to it. This is Revelation 6 and 4. And there went out another horse. The horse is a metaphor for power. See, right now, Esau has the power. Remember, Esau's blessing was the sword. Let's not forget that. Genesis, the 27th chapter. The blessing Isaac gave Esau, his son, was the sword after Esau cried like a bitch because he had just been supplanted out of his blessing by his brother Jacob, which represents us. So the only blessing Isaac had left to give him was the sword. So this man is blessed with the sword. So if you're blessed with the sword, that's what you're going to do. You're going to create all these unnecessary wars, and you're going to create them for profit. Makes sense. Okay? And they went out another horse that was red, and power. See, power was given to him, just like power was given to Esau, or blessing, if you will, from Isaac. Right? Power was given to him that sat upon this horse to take peace from the earth. And that's what they do. That's why they go around the world creating wars. In particular, the so-called Americans, which America is the cradle of the Edomite kingdom. America is its cradle. And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. But what we're living in a time now where a lot of the mighty men of Babylon, which the Edom is the modern day Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. Psalm 137 goes into that. A lot of them are saying, man, the hell with you and your war machine, Babylon. I'm not fighting for you, because they're waking up. And that's why you have Edomites saying to Trump, F you, Trump, F you and your war machine. Even that's from the lyrics of the song American Woman. I don't need your ghetto scenes. I don't need your war machines. The whole world knows that America is about war. That's the American way, man. The war, the gun, the bomb, the tank. That's the American way, man. So they're the red horse. That power was given to them to create these wars, as you see here, Revelation 6 and 4. Let's get back to this.
You know, I called them never-ending wars. Well, we're in for 4 months, and I had a very sad day yesterday. I went to Dover. 4 great American patriots killed. That's 18 in 2 wars, and 1 is too many, but it's 18. Whereas in Vietnam, we lost 200,000. We lost.
So Trump knows. Trump knows the real number is 18, but the Pentagon is playing games and going, technically 4 happened during a ceasefire, so they're not because of the Iran war. It doesn't really change anything. The families of those 4 Americans didn't lose someone less. The troops are no less dead because Trump said, actually, that was during the ceasefire.
And they can lie to the American public. I mean, the American public is so high off, you know, majority of them are fat, dumb, and lazy. They're high off cheap entertainment. Most of them are high off drugs, especially even so-called white people. What was that drug, the drug of choice? Y'all help me out there. Begins with an M. Can't think of it right now. All right, but they're high off lousy music, and they don't care. So why not lie to them? They don't deserve the truth. Like Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, was it the name of that movie? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. They don't deserve the truth. Okay.
Now, the Pentagon later said, oh, we had a temporary.
Yep, meth. Yep, meth. That's it. That's the drug of choice of the average so-called white boy. White boy. American white boy.
Data disruption with the casualty website. I don't know about that. And the bigger problem is that this is an administration that has earned serious skepticism because they always choose politics over being transparent. Members of Congress are complaining they're not getting complete casualty information. And the Pentagon is giving...
They're not getting complete casualty information. Oh, they don't, you know, American people don't deserve it.
Very few detailed briefings about what's going on with this conflict, particularly with the deaths. And now suddenly they go from 18 to 14, and it just so happens to make the war look a little bit less deadly. So it doesn't require...
Make the war a little less deadly. Talk about a paradox, man. Make the war a little less deadly. How is that possible? Make the war a little less deadly. Okay.
Being a conspiracy theorist to understand why people are finding this so suspicious. First, really quick, a word from our sponsor.
Well, there is a conspiracy. The proof is what Smedley Butler said. Smedley Butler blew the doors off the conspiracy. The wars are created for what? They're created for profit, for basically profit. All right, and the only ones they benefit are the, like he said here, Smedley Butler. He emphasized that the true beneficiaries, and remember the phrase, the Latin phrase, cui bono. Cui bono means who benefits. So you have to ask yourself a question behind these wars. Who benefits? Why is America in Iran? Who's benefiting from that? Aha. Showing the soldiers. They're not coming back fat cat rich. Some of them are coming back without no legs. They went over there with legs and they're coming back without no legs. Some of them are coming back with half their face blown off. All right? Some of them are coming back looking grotesque. So they're not benefiting. So who are the ones that are benefiting? Well, like Smedley Butler said, he emphasized that the true beneficiaries of the war are not the soldiers of the country, but rather those who profit from arms sales, those guys that are in the arms sales, selling arms for the war, and military contracts. There you have it. All right, so let's take a look at this video. This guy over here, this guy's a trip.
If you're thinking about selling your house, but the whole process feels like a nightmare, listen to this.
A man recorded the Secret Service outside his place of residence. They showed up because of a video he posted. The uploader, who named himself the MAGA Whisperer, performed these acts in his yard.
Hello and welcome back to the MAGA Whisperer. I'm Sean.
Wait a minute, this guy's a veteran, right? So would he be qualified as the mighty man of Babylon? The answer is yes. Now, you know, he's not ready to fight for Trump. You got Trump over here on a cross. So he's not ready to lay his life and go running on the battlefield, you know, running on the battlefield for Trump. Look at the title of the video. So he would be one of the examples of the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight, just like the prophecy says, Jeremiah 51:30. And we already proved that, beginning fell apostle on down, we already proved that Jeremiah 51 is talking about America. With certain verses in that chapter that lets you know it's talking about America. It couldn't possibly be talking about ancient Babylon. It doesn't fit. It fits America. That certain verses in that chapter. So this guy, is he not an American? I'm proud to be an American, blah, 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 whatever they say in that song. He's a typical American. And what's he doing? He's attacking Trump, vocally attacking Trump. He even got, this is funny. Let's watch this, man.
Sean, never MAGA, always MAGA curious. As I'm getting ready to do some stuff, I'm practicing some of my fire breathing things. I'm not an expert at it. I thought I'd show you. One, don't ever do it. But if you do, cornstarch is a way to do it safely. Look it up on YouTube more safely. So I have a couple of these signs. And let's see, paid off down here, rapist, pedophile, failure, and Nazi, idiotic Christian, Epstein, buddy, Barack Obama's. I think that's on the other one over there.
Mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight.
Anyway, that's just a couple things that we'll have. Bottoms up.
You know, I don't think this is AI. This looks pretty real.
Look at that. I guess we had ignition.
Now, come on. You know America's in trouble when you got a guy. Look, this guy looks like your typical so-called white American. He's supposed to be living the American dream. But look at what he's doing. All right? So America's done, right? Like the brother said, through ski. Shalom to you, bro. Through ski. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Oh, you should have that song playing while he's doing that. I'm proud to be an American, blah, 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 blah. You should have that song playing in the background. What was that, L.C. Greenwood? Was it L.C. Greenwood who did that song? I think it was L.C. Greenwood. Proud to be an American. American, blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Proud to be an American. I think that might have been proud. American song. Could be wrong. Lee Greenwood. I thought it was Elsie Greenwood. Lee Greenwood. Yeah, Lee Greenwood. Yeah, okay. He's the guy that did that song. God bless the USA, YouTube. So this guy here, my man over here, he should have that song playing in the background as he's doing this, doing all of this. Lee Greenwood, that's who did the song. Lee Greenwood. He had another hit too. I think he was a country singer. Lee Greenwood. Lee Greenwood. Was Lee Greenwood? Bear with me for a minute. Lee Greenwood. Country. I think he had a hit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Lee Greenwood. I remember back in the 80s, he had a hit. Okay, let me see if I remember, if I recognize it. His 7 number ones, U.S. country songs list his career. Somebody's gonna love you. Going. I don't recognize any of these songs here. Anyway, he's the guy behind that song. There he is right there. Lee Greenwood. I'm proud to be an American, blah, 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 blah. Let's go back to this.
Was diagnosed with sciatica, so I had to get this seat cushion with this lower back support. It's memory foam. On long car drives,
He's lying to you, folks. He's lying to you. He lied to me. I used to be you. Wake up. Wake up and leave that coal. Let me ask you something.
Mighty man of Babylon had forborn to fight. What more example do you need? This man, he's lying to you, talking about Trump. The war machine ain't warring. Veteran has 0 fucks left to give, shows Trump exactly how he feels.
How's that Doge?
And this is not just with this guy. This is it's like a wave taking over, man. And that's Jeremiah 51 and 30. I got to keep harping on it. The scripture. That's prophecy. Okay?
Check. How's that tariff relief check? How's that Great Southern Wall? Everything he says he's going to do, he reneges on. He doesn't do. He has taken a look at all the people who've done insider trading in their
I bet you when Trump was nominated, I bet you this guy was voting his ass off. All right? Voting his ass off for Trump.
presidency. It's nobody until Trump. Then he did like 50 or 500. Now it's up to 3,000 some this time. He is doing everything that you guys claim that Democrats would do. Every single thing, except take guns so far. But by God, stick around. He's an authoritarian dictator wannabe. He's following the exact playbook of Adolf Hitler. I have 5 college degrees, including 2 master's degrees in Homeland Security with focus on terrorism. I have done many papers and stuff on Adolf Hitler. It's not just me, one guy out here saying this stuff. Study history. It's out there for everybody. The rest of the world is paying attention.
In his own words, he claims this is to help MAGA come over to the other side. It may not be the solution, but he is trying.
Anyway, we're going to try this because I believe that the flame that used to be down here was melting something in here or down here. And
okay, so you get the idea, all right? Esau ain't buying the bullshit no more. There's another one. This time it's a female. Let's check it out. Said fuck Trump, but she's in the military. Yeah, America's done, man. It's I mean, if you can't see that this place is finished, then we don't know what to tell you. All right, let's go to U.S. Army officer and POG disgraces the uniform. Okay, yeah, let's check this out. Bring it back.
Today wearing this uniform, and I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, fuck Donald Trump.
Patrick, fuck you. 14 years in service, and you still don't understand that you are subject to UCMJ up until the very end of your last fucking day? That tracks. As someone who served honorably as a U.S. Army infantryman, I cannot stand this pogue-ass shit. This shitbag thought that his very last day in uniform meant that he could spit in the face of the commander-in-chief. Shows up with a mustache that...
Today is my last day wearing this uniform, and I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, fuck Donald Trump.
Patrick, fuck you. 14 years in service, and you still don't understand that you are subject to UCMJ up until the very end of your last fucking day? That tracks. As someone who served honorably as a U.S. Army infantryman...
Remember what Kissinger said, military men are dumb, stupid animals? Y'all can put the quote there.
Infantryman, I cannot stand this pogue-ass shit. This shitbag thought that his very last day in uniform meant that he could spit in the face of the commander-in-chief. Shows up with a mustache that is completely out of...
Commander-in-chief. Well, here's a question for you, my man. If Trump is the commander-in-chief, why ain't he on the battlefield? He's a commander-in-chief, right? Back in the day, a commander-in-chief, his ass would be on the battlefield, fighting right alongside with the soldiers. We don't see Trump on the battlefield fighting right alongside with the soldiers. So what is he the commander-in-chief of? Exactly what?
Of regulations. Dyed the top of his hair like he's auditioning for a fucking boy band instead of leading troops. Shitbag, who, mind you, looks like...
Well, you can get out there and lead the troops yourself. Seeing you got all that energy. Yeah, there it is right there. Henry Kissinger allegedly made the statement, military men are just dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns for foreign policy. Same thing that, what's his name said, Smedley Butler. Obviously, Smedley Butler, Henry Kissinger, obviously they know something that this clown over here don't know.
like
that these wars don't mean anything. These wars are strictly for profit.
half of his career.
It ain't the soldiers that are fighting in these wars that are profiting. It's the people that create these wars.
On the Fat Boy program instead of remaining mission ready. Article 88 of the UCMJ exists for this exact reason. And you, Patrick Kaiser, who never took the time in 14 years of service to understand UCMJ, just violated it. Your POGAS deserves the full weight of the military justice system coming down on you. And you deserve every single dollar of the pension that you built up over 14 years stripped from you. Real soldiers don't fucking do this. Real soldiers respect.
You know what? This is an example of if a kingdom is divided against itself, how can it stand? The guy he's cursing out looks to be a so-called white man. This guy here, he looks like a so-called white man. So this war nonsense, this war BS is dividing its own people. How about that? You know, they over the Iran, and it was the same thing back in the 60s with that Vietnam thing. A lot of those Edomites, when they came back from Vietnam, they were right here on the shores of America, they were called baby killers and shit. So that division, and that's why we tell you that the division of the destruction of America really started in the late 60s. The movie Born on the 4th of July, which was based on the life of Ron Kovic, showed you that the division that the Vietnam conflict caused in America, the separation. And now we see it again with this Iran thing. Okay. So what did Howard Shai said? A nation divided against itself cannot stand. So America's finished. It's done. It's done. Okay. The fact that this guy is cursing out a fellow so-called white person over the war bullshit. Meanwhile, this guy and the other guy who said fuck Trump, they're not the true beneficiaries of that war. No, the true beneficiaries of that war, according to Smedley Butler, are the ones that created it, the arms dealers and the ones that are on the inside, the insiders. They're the true beneficiaries, especially the top banking families, because they're getting the resources that those military guys are fighting for. The resources, the bankers are getting it. Okay.
Back the uniform.
Right. That's an excellent scripture. Again, another example of prophecy, Isaiah 19:2, and I will set the Egyptians, just replace the Egyptians with the modern day Babylonians, which are the Edomites. Just replace that. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother. And we know civil war is right on the horizon, right here in America, civil war. They even made a movie called Civil War. They shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And they're hotly divided over, just like they were in Vietnam, over the Vietnam, not in Vietnam, over the Vietnam conflict. They're hotly divided over this Iran that's Iran nonsense, okay? Which all that is a prelude to World War III, okay? Yep, here it is right here. Mark the 3rd chapter, 25th verse. Shalom to you, Dawadah. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Right. If a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Let's hear some more.
UCMJ and the chain of command, whether you like who's in charge or not. I cannot wait. I can't fucking wait to hear the news that Pete Hegseth is going to bring the full weight of UCMJ down on you. You get what you fucking deserve. You pogue ass bitch. Eat fucking dirt shitbag and get fucked.
Today is my last day.
But at least he was in the military for 14 years. Was Hegseth ever in the military? Maybe he was. I don't know. Someone can fact check that. Was Trump ever in the military? Aha. All right. So before I end this lesson, because I got to get ready for camp, what I did was I typed in, why are military men saying F Trump? Let's go through some of the information here. This is from BuzzFeed. U.S. military members get honest about Donald Trump. And, all these are examples of Jeremiah 51 and 30. Oh, he did serve. Okay. Pete Hegseth served in the military as an infantry officer in the Army National Guard and reached the rank of major, completing deployments to Guantanamo. Okay, so he was in Donald Trump, however. Donald Trump, he was in the military. Maybe, well, Donald Trump, however, wasn't in the military, didn't serve in the military. Donald Trump did not serve in the military. He never served as an enlisted soldier or an officer, but yet he's the commander in chief. How does that work? His title is, type in does Donald Trump, is his title commander in chief, which I believe it is. He's a commander in chief. How can the commander in chief who never joined the military, how can he receive that title? How does that work? It's all a joke. Hegseth served a total of approximately 9 years of active drilling service in the Army National Guard. I doubt if Hegseth was actually on the battlefield, actually fighting. But then again, what about that's why you had, what was the name of that guy? Creedence Clearwater Revival. There's a group called Creedence Clearwater Revival. And Creedence Clearwater Revival, and they had a song called Senator's Son. The senators' sons were not allowed to go into war. Y'all can fact check it. Why did CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, why did they record the song Senator's Son? Because when you go into that lyrics, more proof that war is definitely a racket. The fact that the senators' sons, the congressmen and the senators, their family, in particular their sons, they don't go into battle. Majority of them, they don't go into battle. Let's get the lyrics for Senator's Son. Senator's Son. Okay, it said he served in, that's what it says. Hegseth fought in active war zones during his military career. Okay, well, I guess he's the real deal, right? Hegseth is the real deal. Or maybe he should be president. He should be president because you got a president who never served in battle. Never was even in the military, but he's commander-in-chief. Hey, make Hegseth commander-in-chief. Okay, fortunate son. Fortunate son. Forgive me, I forgot the part of the title. Fortunate son. What was that all about? Fortunate son. Okay, here we go. And you fast with that information, brother. I got to give it to you. Creedence Clearwater Revival wrote Fortunate Son out of pure anger over the Vietnam War draft and how wealthy, powerful families use their status to get their children out of military service. There you go. Yeah, because they know it's a racket. They know it's a racket. That's why. Some folks are, I remember hearing the song all the time. Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, the red, white, and blue. And when the band plays Hail to the Chief, ooh, they point their cannon at you, Lord. It ain't me, it ain't me. I ain't no senator's son. I mean, I'm not from a powerful, wealthy family. That's what the lead singer, at least, John Fogerty, that's what he was saying in the song. And by the way, he wrote most of the songs, John Fogerty. So this sentiment was definitely coming from him. Okay, so show you he was pretty what's the word I'm looking for? To write a song like that, he was pretty he was up, he knew what was going on behind the scenes. See, it ain't me, I ain't no millionaire's son. So you get it. Let's read this. In the United States, the U.S. Constitution explicitly designates the president as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces to ensure civilian control over the military, and it does not require prior military experience. Well, then the title is a misnomer. How can they be commander-in-chief? Shouldn't the commander-in-chief at least have military experience? Shouldn't he at least be involved in the military to some extent to receive that title? I think so. Anyway, I'm going to close this lesson. Let me go over a couple more of these. U.S. military members are revealing how they honestly feel. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Fury over Trump's questionable remark during Georgia rally. Trump attends dignified transfer. U.S. military and veterans share brutally honest how they honestly feel about Trump and his administration. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to say shalom to you brothers and your sisters of the household of faith. I got to get ready for camp. Maybe I might tackle this topic tomorrow, Lord's will. Hopefully you were edified by this lesson. So for now, I say shalom. Yeah, the best warlord is also a warrior. Exactly. Absolutely. It just makes sense. Anyway, shalom to you, brothers and sisters, household of faith.